Basically, I came to this because I was suicidal. um, I'm gay and Mormon, and that can be a difficult path to navigate. About 2 years ago, there was a very difficult part that I was in, and it was exacerbated by how I felt like my community around me, not just the Mormon community, the American community around me, had degenerated so much in the lack of ability to communicate and have civil discourse and dialogue around really divisive, tough issues. And I sort of felt like, well, I don't like how I feel. I don't like my life that I have inside as a gay Mormon. That's hard enough. And then my life on the outside in my community is so dysfunctional. I don't think I want to keep doing this. And actually went down to southern Utah with plans to take my own life, and sort of did that last ditch effort prayer that sometimes people do, sort of saying, God, if there's anything I'm missing, you're gonna have to let me know, because it's totally escaping me. And I felt this really distinct impression to focus on empathy, which was sort of like my response was, that's nice, but what does that have to do with what my issue is? And because it just, my perception was very common perception. It was like, well, that's a nice fluffy idea or value or characteristic, but what does it have to do with what I'm talking about? But I went with it, and sort of began a years-long work of researching and understanding what empathy is, what it really means, and how it can be developed as a skill, and then it can be developed as a tool and a personal virtue and characteristic that really does enable us to have far better conversations and dialogue within ourselves, but then also within our communities. And so from that, decided to start a nonprofit called Empathy First Initiative that sponsors any sort of program that helps empower members of the community to first increase their empathy quotient, or their ability to empathize with other people, and by putting that effort first, rather than trying to prove your point or disprove somebody else's point, you try to empathize with somebody else first and really genuinely understand where they're coming from, where their thoughts and their feelings have come from, what their history is, their personal story, and then sort of watch the magic of how the discourse changes from being combative and destructive and dysfunctional to being highly functional and productive and creative in ways that you just really couldn't imagine without having given that a try.